Hi, this is Richard the Legend, Board Game Fanatic, and for episode 4, we're going to be doing Mansion and Madness of Madness. It is a made by Fantasy Flight and also made by Nikki Valance. It is a cooperative investigative game based on H.P. Lovecraft's stories about all the monsters and stuff that are coming from a different dimension. So we're going to do one scenario, the first scenario they recommend to do. Starting a scenario that's somewhat easy. It's not super easy because you can still die. So we will try to do the best we can and try to survive. Alright, what we're going to be doing is talking about, first of all, setup, how do you set up the game. Then we're going to talk about some rules and how to do certain things during the game. And then we're going to go into some additional rules that may show up during the game. Some of these may not show up because the app may not require them. So after we do all that, then we will start gameplay. Like we do with Forgotten Souls, we may have additional video continuation, but we'll see how it goes and how it works out. So the first thing we're going to do is setup. Okay, so we are going to set up the game. So we're going to go to new game. Alright. We're going to do Cycle of Eternity. And Cycle of Eternity, after a rash of disappearances, your investigation brings you to the Vanderbilt mansion during a meeting of the particular astronomical society. Can you unravel the mystery before the cycle of eternity turns once more? You can see the difficulty is somewhat easy and the duration's around 60 to 90 minutes. So we will see how long it takes us to do this. So if we have to, we'll split the video in two. We may not have to, so in case we die. So we'll see what happens here. Alright, so we're going to first select our investigator. So we hit the button down here. And we're going to pick Ashcan Pete and Father Mateo. Then we're going to gain our starting items. So, alright, so we have Duke. We're going to have a lucky bandana. So what I'll do, I have a lucky bandana, a crowbar, painkiller as your flame, mist of Ye, and Duke. So, and we get 2 clues to start out with, 2 clue tokens. Alright, so I am going to shut the video for a second, get the items we need, and then we're going to discuss where they're going to go on each character. Okay, so we got our character sheets here. We just got our items. So the first one is Duke, and that's going to be the special ability that Ashcan Pete has. He begins the game with Duke unique item, and that's the dog, his dog. And the start of your turn, you may perform a trade action as if you were in the space if you are in any space within range. So basically, when you do a trade action, the other character has to be in the same space as you to trade items. But because he has Duke, he can do it within 3 spaces. So he's got a little more leeway. Alright, so then we got the lucky bandana, and what that does is once per round you may convert all magnifying glasses 2 stars while resolving a observation test. So we look here, and Father Mateo has a lower observation test. He's got 2 instead of 4 like Ashcan. So we're going to give him the lucky bandana. Alright. Then we got the crowbar, heavy weapon. And because Ashcan has the higher strength, he's got 4 and Father Mateo has 3, we're giving him the crowbar or weapon.
Alright, then we got painkillers. It says discard 1 face down damage and 1 face down horror, then discard this card. I think because the horror rating is less on Father Mateo, painkillers would probably be a good option for Father Mateo, so we'll put there. And then for a weapon, I think Father Mateo will take the Azure Flame because that is a ranged weapon. It's also used as a life source, so we'll give him that. And the raid check for Mr. Reye, I'll give to Pete. He's got 1 spell. Alright, so we're all set up right there. So let's talk about the character sheets. The life rating of Ashcan Pete is 7. That means he can get up to 7 damage cards to his character before he gets wounded. As soon as he gets wounded, then he will discard any face down damage cards and put them in the discard pile. He will keep all his face up ones, so those still will count for the next additional 7. As soon as he gets another 7 damage cards near his character sheet, he will die, and that is one way of losing. The next one is the horror, and he's got 7. So if you get 7 horror cards, you will become insane and will get an insane card. Insane cards are all different. They have different conditions on them. So normally when you're playing with more than 1 player, each character will look at the insane condition and keep it secret and play that to the end of the game. And that's how that's going to work. But we will get to see the insane condition and how it's going to be played if that happens. Okay. The next thing we have is the characteristics for each character. Ashcan has a strength of 4, ability of 4, an observation of 4, a lore of 3, an influence of 2, and a will of 4. Now what this means is this is the number of dice that you will use to do a test result for that characteristic. The app will call on, let's say you need to do a strength check, and so you get 4 dice, and sometimes it will be 1 result has to be shown, and normally that is a star has to be shown on the dice. But there also is magnifying glasses, like we talked about with the Lucky Bandanna. You can also use clue tokens to spend to make that a good result. So if you have any magnifying glasses on the dice, you can use what clue tokens you have to get that result, and so you don't cause you to have a bad more damage or more horror or some condition that may cause you if you fail. So that is what those are for. Okay. Now Father Mateo, he's got a life level of 6, a horror level of 8. His action, special action he has an action, and that is another investigator within range becomes focused. Activate this ability only once per round. He can use this as one of his 2 actions during the round, and you would give a focus condition to Ashcan Pete. That will give him better results because he will get, with all the magnifying glasses that show, will be considered a star. Alright, so that's what that is. His strength is 3, ability is 3, agility is 3, observation 2, lore is 4, influence is 4, and will is 5. Okay, so we're all set up with the characters. Now we need to go back to the app and set the starting of the adventure. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go back to the iPad. Alright, we're back to the iPad. So let's push continue setup. It says, there was a thunder in the air on the night. I went to the deserted mansion atop Tempest Mountain to find the lurking fear. This is a quote from one of H.P. Lovecraft's books, The Lurking Fear. So let's begin the scenario.
You slump into your office chair after another long day of interviews. You've been investigating the disappearances surrounding a wealthy neighborhood for 2 weeks, but you have nothing to show for it. The telephone rings. You answer, and hear the panicked voice of an older man.
Is this the investigator who visited the Vanderbilt estate?
You flip through the files on your desk. William Vanderbilt, a wealthy bachelor, mother recently deceased. He has refused to meet with you, but you were able to speak to several members of his serving staff.
This is Eugene, Mr. Vanderbilt's butler, right? I didn't know who else to call. The police think I'm crazy. Unnatural things have started happening here. I'm worried for my master. I think he's in danger. Please, help.
Finally, a lead. You hang up the phone, throw on your coat, and leave for the Vanderbilt estate.
Alright, so this is our intro. So we're going to go and continue. And then this is our setup rooms that we have to set up. Your car rattles up to uneven drive, pulling to a stop in the front of the estate. Several cars and carriages are parked along the drive. However, the butler who contacted you is nowhere to be seen. You knock on the large oak door to no response. Hearing something has happened, you try the handle, and the door swings open into a lavish entryway. Place the entry hall and the bathroom tiles and walls as indicated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the tiles for the startup. Okay, and then we'll come back to the app here. So I'm just going to stop the video for 1 sec. Okay, so the next step is you step in the warmth of the house. Strange stillness hangs in the air, and your footsteps echo through the quiet entrance. Place the investigative figures as indicated. And so they're going to be on the entrance of the entry hall. Okay. And we hit continue. On the left wall of the entry hall, sits a table with a small pile of papers. Place the search token as indicated. Okay, so I'll place the search token. Continue. A mysterious painting of light-time landscape dominates the right hall of the entry. Place the search token as indicated. Alright, put there. And then continue. The silence is broken by muffled shouts and sounds of crashing pots and the pans coming from the door on your right. Place the explore token as indicated. So it'll be on the right hand side. Continue. Alright, you notice a shelf stacked with books and their objects nearby. Pushing it in front of the door could prevent someone or something from coming through. Place a barricade as indicated. Okay, so we're going to put a barricade in the corner of the room. Alright, continue. The hall continues deeper into the mansion. Place a sight token as indicated. Investigating the hall 3 may reveal the adjacent area. Okay, so put that there. And then we have 3 other doors in the room that we can explore. Alright, continue. Alright, so we got talking about the phases. Alright, so this is the time I'm going to talk about the round, how it works. So let me lower the sound a little bit. Okay, so Rounds consist of an investigative phase and a mythos phase. The first thing is the investigative phase. So each character gets to perform 2 actions. Alright. Now there's a bunch of different actions and we will talk about them right now. The first one is move. That means you can move 2 spaces. Each space is aligned with a white line border that will give you an indication of how many spaces in that room. Okay, so for example, this room here has 2 spaces. The line here indicates 1 space and this is 2 spaces. Okay, so that's basically how that's going to work. Search are your question mark tokens that you can search a specific token, and that is 1 action. Trade, we talked about already, you trade with a fellow character in the same space. Interact is going to be used when you see an explanation token, and those will come up during the game. Those are blue explanation points. So that is what that's for. It's the same kind of as the search tokens. And then you have the explorer tokens. Those are your red tokens that look like lanterns. So that is an action. Interact. I kind of already talked about interact. Okay, component actions. You may have an action on one of your cards. For example, painkillers that Father Mateo has an action, and that's discard the 1 face down damage and 1 face down horror, then discard the card. So that would be an action that you can use during the round. Okay, and then attacking is an action. You can attack a monster if there's 1 available. And there's 2 different actions. The melee has to be an adjacent space, or the same space, or you are attacking by range, and we already talked about range is 3 spaces. But you cannot attack through a door. You have to be in a clear view of the monster itself in a room. Okay. After that, those 2 actions are done for both characters. Then we go into the Mythos phase. First thing happens, there will be an event that comes up on the app that will tell us what's going to happen. It's normally a bad condition. After that, we will do the monster activations. If there are any monsters, and they will do their attacks. Then whoever's in the same area or range of 3 from that monster, whoever the highest horror rating is, and we kind of talked about the horror rating, it's the bottom number on the monsters, we'll do a horror check on that specific monster and see if anything bad happens to us. Alright. Now, we have additional rules. We kind of talked about damage and horror rate, so I don't have to go through that. We talked about wounded. That means that if you get the maximum number of life points, you will become wounded. We talked about insane. If you get the maximum number of horror on your character sheet, you will be insane. If you die, you will basically drop all your possessions in the space that you died from. You remove your character from the board, and then the additional character has 1 more round to accomplish the investigation, or they lose. Okay, so that's where we're at now. So now we're going to be talking about skill test. I'm going to show you 2 components that you need to know about with skill test, and then we'll go on to talking about evading. So let's, I'm going to stop the video, get the components I need, and show them to you. Okay, so what we got here is we have some tokens. The tokens that we have here are our improvement tokens. Each improvement token represents one of the characteristics your character has. During the game, you may get improvements. So you can get one of each of these characteristic tokens to put on your character sheet. That means that you will have one extra extra dice during your test results. So that's what to keep in mind. So if you have, for example, the string token with the guy showing his muscles, for example, Ash Pete has 4 originally, then he will have 5, so you'll get 5 dice. Now we have the dice that are shown on the top there. We have 3 symbols. We have the star, the magnifying glass, and a blank. The blank, for example, is total miss, so you do not get anything for that. The magnifying glass, like I said before, you will use clues to be spent to get that as a star. Okay, so every magnifying glass you spend a clue token on will become a good result. And of course, the star is the good result. So that's how it's going to work when you roll the dice. Okay. Now each time you roll the dice for a test result will be different. Sometimes you will have to get 2, sometimes you have to get 3, sometimes you may just need to get 1. It's dependent on the app and what it tells you have to do. So we'll see that in the gameplay when we get there. Alright, so those are the test results. So let's go back to the app. Okay, so this is a monster figure. It's a hunting horror. The top number, number 5, corresponds to its awareness rating. The higher the rating, the more difficult it is to evade from it. The app is going to basically go through, if you do want to evade a monster as an action, you will you will punch the monster button on the app. You will pick the monster you're at, and you will say evade, and it will basically go through a skill check of some kind. But the number means if it's higher than this, if it's like a 13, that's almost impossible to evade it. The app knows which monster is better in awareness, so that's what that is for. The horror rating is the bottom number, and same thing. The higher the number, the more horror rating you will get to do a horror check. It will be more difficult, so keep that in mind. And then on the bottom of the is basically a special ability. Like for example, this one, the monster can move through impassable borders, and it's got some flavor text there. When we put it out, we can read it. And the next one is number 3. That is your prowess, and that's used for barricades. So basically, when Barry comes out, that's how many dice he gets to roll, and if he gets 2 successes, he breaks the barricade from the door and will come through the door. Alright, so that is the monster and his specific abilities, his numbers. Okay, so we're back to the app. Next thing we're going to talk about is evade. We talked about this before. The top letter of each monster has a specific number that's either lower or higher. So we are going to whatever monster you are next to that you want, if you want to move, you have to do an evade check. And that is done by clicking on the monster on the app that specifically you're at. Or if there's 2 monsters, the one with the highest evade rating. And then you're going to, it's going to tell you what skill test you have to do. So that's how evade is done. Alright, the next thing we need to talk about are the features. You may come across certain features in the game that may cause a condition that you have to obey by and may cause issues. So we need to go through the different tokens and what they are and explain them. So that will be next. So I'm going to shut the video and get tokens set up, and we will discuss them. Okay, the features. We're going to start from the top. The first one on the left is your barricade. We already have one on our map already. That's used to block doors and so the monsters can't get through. So, like we said before, there is a prowess rating on the bottom of each stand of the monster that will tell you how many dice they get to try to break the barricade. If you get 2 good results, 2 stars, they will break the barricade and break the door, and then they'll come through. Alright, next one is darkness. Darkness, the only thing that does is that you cannot spend clues for any test results when you roll magnifying glasses, or using it for steps of a puzzle. We haven't talked about puzzles. There are puzzles in this game dealing with the app, and it's basically through your lore is how many steps you can do on the puzzle. But also you can use clue tokens for an extra step. So in darkness you cannot use those. Fire. Fire is if a character or a monster come into a space with a fire, they get a damage. Alright? Face down damage for investigator, or a wound for the monster. As an action, you may attempt or extinguish the flame using your agility rating, and each success that you get, you can remove 1 fire token. So if during the round you are in fire, you do agility check, you get, let's say, 3 results, good results, you can remove 3 fire tokens. So you can do your move to the next space, remove 1, move to the next space, remove 1. So you get a total of 3. Alright, but that only goes for that round only. Alright, the next thing is, during the Mythos Phase, the thing that's going to happen is if there's fire, it will spread. So you have to take 1 fire token and put it adjacent to 1 other fire token. Alright. The next tokens we have are the secret passages. These are the ones on the second row. You have 3 different types, and they will be shown on the map when they come up, and there should be another one that comes up from another room. Well, these entrances are considered adjacent, so it's considered at 1 space. Alright, so that's how the secret passages work. Alright, the next thing we got is the rift token. If you perform any actions that other than move in that space with a rift token, you will become lost in space and time and space. That's a specific condition, and you will get one of those cards. Alright, as an action, using lore, and you get a success, you can discard a rift token in the space, just like with fire. And if you get more than 1 result, you can remove as many rifts for that round as possible. Same thing. Alright, water. When you see the second one here has water on it, if you enter a space with a token like that, you move is totally stopped for that round. You end in that space. Okay, the next one is Restraint. When you have a token like that, if a monster is in that space, contains a Restraint token, he does not need to be evaded. So you could basically go in this space, attack him, and do a move out of that space without doing an evade check. Also, you can take one of the tokens off. So the monster, if the monster is about to activate and move, you can take one of those restraints from that space where the monster is at to forfeit their movement for that turn. Okay. The last two on the bottom. First one's Overgrowth. If you move out of space with an Overgrowth, you have to test an observation check. If you fail, you will lose a random item from your amount of items you have. Then you can move. If you pass, you just move out of space. An action is if you have a bladed weapon, you can take all the Overgrowth tokens off the space, and if fire is put into space, all Overgrowth tokens are taken off. Alright. Rubble. When you're in a space with rubble, you cannot search, you cannot explore or interact. If you have a heavy weapon, you can move one rubble out of your space. If you go and use your strength and do a test result to remove rubble, and you also have a heavy weapon, you can discard all the rubble out of that space. So that means rubble and Overgrowth can have more than one rubble and more than one Overgrowth in a space at a time. Those are only tokens that can do that. Alright, so those are the features. Alright, so that pretty much covers all the rules that we're going to be talking about. If anything comes up that I didn't mention, I will bring it up during the playthrough. So let's get back to the board and see what we're going to do. Alright, the next thing we're going to discuss is conditions. There are a total of 14 conditions here. I'm not going to discuss all of them. I will discuss them when we come in contact with them through the playthrough. There are a few that are good, like a focus that we discussed earlier. Also righteous and fearless. So these are the conditions that we will maybe see during the game. So hopefully, well, we'll describe them when they come to. Also the spells. The only spell we have right now is Mist of Yay. If I pronounce that right. Basically that is for evading, so you can invade. And what happens is when you cast a spell, you cast it and you will flip the spell over, and as a result that happens during that spell. And then as soon as you finish that spell, you grab another one off the pile and put that one in the discard pile. So each one's different, and every time you cast it, there's something that happens. So those are conditions. Next things are features, and I will show you specific ones that we will have, and I will line them up so I can discuss them. And then that'll be our next slide. So let me shut this off, place all the features we have that we're going to discuss, and we'll get on to the playthrough after that. Okay, so here's the board. I already set it up. So we had to decide who's going to go first. Alright, so one thing is we did hear some crashing. Okay, so it's probably a good idea to investigate that crashing. That's probably a reason why, hey, wait a minute, there's something wrong. So what I'm going to do is, because Ashcan Pete has a crowbar, he has a weapon, he's going to be the walk in because he's got a melee weapon. So we're going to take Ashcan Pete and we're going to go to this door right here. So I'm going to click on the app, and it says a ruckus can be heard on the other side of this door. Shouting the crash of pots and pans. And is that hissing? So we're going to hit Explore button on there. And it says the door swings open to reveal a dining room in chaos. The Asian man in tailcoat scrambles through a serving window into the kitchen as he tries to escape a strange black creature withering on the dining room table. Discard this Explorer token and place the dining room tile. Alright, so let me set that up and I'll be right back. Okay, so there we are. We set up the dining room table. Oh, I got the wrong way, sorry. Let me move it this way. My mistake. Alright, I'm going to hit continue on the app. The ship turns to face you. Its black, serpentine body shifts and changes, playing tricks on your eyes as you try to focus on it. The creature unfurls its leather wings and unleashes a blood-curdling screech. Spawn a hunting horror, as indicated. Then suffer 2 horror. Will negates. Okay, so when you get a hunting horror, and the it says here, black and ropey and relentless, the creature flies swiftly, always seeking its quarry. Its ever-changing form is hard to see your mortal eyes. And its special ability is the monster can move through impassable borders. So that means basically it can travel around the board without, if there's like a wall or anything, you can go right around it. If it's like a border, a harder border, you can go past it because you can fly. Alright, so that gets set up there. The monster gets set up. And the next thing we need to do is a dice roll. Now, because both guys that just opened the door and they just saw the monster, they both have to roll a horror check. Okay, so they open the door. If there is an Explore token on the door, then it's blocked. But if it's not, it's open. So, first is Ash Can Pete. He's got a will of 4, so we get 4 dice. Now he needs to get at least 2 results because he's suffering 2 horror. So if he gets 2 stars, then he's fine. He doesn't get any horror. So let's do that. So he got a bunch of magnifying glasses. He got 1 result, good result, but he's got 2 clue tokens. So we'll take 1 clue token off his character sheet. That will give him his 2 horror. He negates those 2 horror. That's good. Alright, Father Mateo gets 5 dice. We roll that. And he got 1 magnifying glass. Not good. So we will take 1 off. But that means he's still going to get 1 horror. So I have to take a horror card. And basically it says, adversity only stokes the fire of your resolve to make things right again, no matter what. Resolve immediately. Become righteous, then flip this card face down. So he's got 1 horror, but he gets a righteous condition. And the righteous condition is once per round, you may convert in magnifying glass to a star. When you suffer 1 or more horror, discard this card. So this condition is ongoing until he gets another horror. That's pretty cool. So he gets once per round, you may convert a magnifying glass to a star. So that basically is our condition that we just did. So we need to continue. When we hit continue, then he says, in the center of the dining room table, a carving knife sits embedded in a roast. Place the knife common item as indicated, and the investigator can pick up an item. This item in his space is part of the trade action. So I had to grab a knife out of the common items and put it there. It's going to be pretty easy here. Knife. Alright, there's the knife. It gets placed here. Alright. Then we got a china cabinet. Stands against the wall. Though it looks to have been repurposed to store all manner of knickknacks, place the search token as indicated. So it gets one right here. Alright, there we go. Continue. Then we got, you can see a kitchen through the serving window. Most of the cabinets are ajar due to the food preparation, but one that has been locked shut with a chain catches your attention. Place a search token as indicated. So this one goes here. Alright, and the next one is the kitchen. You can also see that someone has left the refrigerator open. Water leaks out into a puddle on the floor. Place that search token as indicated. So, this refrigerator is the search token. Continue. You spotted the old man you saw climbing through the serving window building. You spot the old man you saw climbing through the serving window, huddling in the corner behind the oven. Sweat beads off his brow and his eyes bulge in terror. Place a person token as indicated. This is Eugene, the butler. This is the guy that called us earlier. So he's going to be huddled right here in the kitchen. So now Ashcan can move one space in. So he's going to move one space in. So that's one action that he's done. Okay? So now he's got a second action. And the second action, I think, is going to be an attack. So we are going back to the app real quick, and we're going to show you how attack is performed. Okay, so we're back to the app. We have one. So what we do is we click first the monster icon here on the bottom, and we click on the monster we're going to be doing, the Honey Horror, and we're going to hit attack. Alright, so Ashcan Pete has a crowbar. That is a heavy weapon, and the damage it gives is 2 wounds. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit heavy weapon, attack with a heavy weapon, and click that. And it gives explanation. The creature knocks you prone, but you keep your grip on your weapon. And now you have a clear shot as its softer underbelly. Strength 2. So that means he's going to roll a dice, and he's going to get, for Ashcan, he has 4 strength. Okay? So he's going to get 4 dice, so he needs to get a 2 or better to pass that test. So, we roll the dice. So he got 2 magnifying glasses and 1 star. He's got 1 clue left, so he's going to use it. Alright, so he passed. If you pass, your weapon slams into the creature most vulnerable spot. The monster suffers damage equal to their weapon's damage plus the test result. So damage for the crowbar is 2. Then we got 2 on the result, so that's 4 damage. So we go click 4 damage on our monster, and then we hit continue. Alright? And we go back, and that is his turn. Alright, so now we need to go back to the board and see what Father Mateo is going to do. Okay, so Father Mateo is out on the next room, but he has a spell called Observe Flame that he has as a ranged weapon, so he can attack the Honey Horror. So I think that's what he's going to do, but before he does that, I think he's going to search this from the enter hall. he's going to search that desk, a pile of papers. He's going to search that. So he's going to search it. The piles stacked on the table are invitations marked with today's date. The star has come round to their positions in the cycle of eternity. The Vanderbilt Astronomy Association cordially invites you to a celebratory evening. Gain 1 clue. So we got 1 extra clue on him, so now he has 2. And he says remove the search token. So that's done. Because it was in the same space I could do that. Now we're going to go to the app and we're going to do an attack. Alright, so we're back to the app. We're going to click on the monster again. Honey Horror, and then we're going to hit attack. And we're going to hit attack with spell. Okay, so the pulsing sphere of darkness forms in your hand as you begin the incantation. Lore 2. So his lore is 4. So he's going to roll 4 dice. He needs to get 2 results, just like Afghan had to do with his strength. So let's see what happens here. So he got 2 results, and he got a magnifying glass, but he only needs 2. So we don't need to spend any clue tokens. So if you pass, your words charge the sphere with a terrible power, and you lose it at your foe. Lose it at your foe. The monster suffers damage equal to the spell damage. So that's 2. So we're going to click. Oh, he's done. He's dead. So we can confirm he's dead. And this guy is gone. So the Honey Horror is gone. Then the Eugene comes out of the woodwork and comes to that space. Alright, and continue. Alright. So now that he's cast a spell, we need to find out what happens. So you flip it over, and it says Arcane Flame. The fire you cast grows brighter, drawing your vitality into its glow. Flip 1 damage and 1 horror face up. Then discard this card and gain another Azure Flame spell. Well, he has no damage, so we're good there. But he does have a horror. And it says here, it gets further again, becomes righteous. But because he's righteous already, we don't have to worry about that. So he is going to flip that back down. So we take that card and we pick the next one on top and bring it over, and he's got the spell again. The next one. Alright, so that is his turn. So now we have to go into the Mythos phase. So we're going to click this arrow here, confirm that it's done, and we'll go to Mythos. So each time you blink, a chilling sensation coats your eyes. You suddenly realize that your eyelids are several degrees cooler than your eyeballs. No immediate effect. Wow, that's nothing. That's good for us, so continue. So now we're back to our investigation phase. So we can go back to the board. Okay, so we're in the next round. We have Eugene. Well, of course, he's the guy that called us. So it's probably recommended for us to talk to him. So I think Ashcan, I think he's not going to be the one to talk to him because his handshake ability is not very well. His influence. So I think Ashcan, before he does anything, he is going to explore that token in the same space. So he will explore that token. So a China cabinet has been repurposed to store all manner of knickknacks. Search. Okay. The cabinet holds candles, wooden statuettes, stones, beads, and other random objects. You try to discern what they could be for. So you have a lore check. He's got 3. So we want to get as many as possible because it determines, you don't know how many results you need. We just add how many results we get. So hopefully, we got 0. Awesome. So confirm. You find no pattern to the clutter, it is probably junk. Alright, so right now he doesn't find anything. So he could probably try to search that again. Or he can go into, oh, that would be his second move. Yeah, I'll search that again. Hopefully get a better roll this time. Okay. Roll again. Gonna get 3 dice. Oh, this time I got 2 plus 1 magnifying glass, but I have no clues right now. So I will get 2. So when I confirm that, it says, as you dig through the objects, you begin to form a hunch that makes you uneasy. You have heard of objects such as these found at the site of occult rituals. They could prove useful to your investigation. Gain the circumstantial evidence, unique item, and 1 clue. Awesome. So we get 1 clue. And he gets a unique item called the circumstantial evidence. So we will get that. And I probably we use during the scenario with something to help us out to accomplish it. So then we can continue, and that search token is gone. Alright, so I think Father Mateo is going to move in here, and he's going to talk to our butler guy that we just talked to earlier. So it says, the old man brushes himself off and tries to calm his shaken composure. He came just in time. You came just in time. Thank you so much for saving me. The name is Eugene. We spoke earlier today. I've heard noises from the yard, but the door is locked. I think something bad is going to happen. So we're going to ask him, I think, where is Mr. Vanderbilt, because we need to know where he's at. He's the main guy we're trying to find. So those ruffians took Mr. Vanderbilt to the yard. You can get to the yard through the west door of the hall, but the door is locked. Mr. Vanderbilt likely keeps the key in his way. I'm not sure if he would want me trusting you with this. So then you do a influence check, and we get to do 4. That's why I said probably a good idea to have that. So we're going to roll 4 dice for Mateo. And I got 1 result, good result. I don't know if that's really going to do it. So I'm going to confirm him. No, Mr. Val would not like me talking about that with strangers. Continue. Okay, so we have to wait to next round to talk to him again, because that is I could move, but I don't want to. I want to get the information from him. And I can't grab the knife till next round anyway, so I'll wait. So that is our turn, so we're going to go do the Mythos Phase. Alright. So, the sky on the horizon flashes briefly, and after a few moments you hear the distant rumble of thunder. No immediate effect. That sounds like something's going on. Alright, so that's the end of the Mythos Phase. Nothing's happened so far. That's good for us. Thank God. Alright, so we're back to this. So we are going to go and we're going to talk to Eugene again. Hopefully convincing him to tell us what's going on. Where's the key? That's what I'm going to ask him. Jesus would like to tell you anything more. You attempt to coax the information out of him. Alright, so we're going to roll another 4 dice again. Hopefully Mateo will convince us this time. Oh, and I forgot I have the righteous. May use that. I also have the lucky bandana. Oh, but that's for observation. So I will try to use my righteous so I can convert 1 magnifying glass. Oh my god, I only got 1. So 1 magnifying glass I got. And I will use the righteousness. So I get 1. It says, alright, Mr. Vanderbilt keeps a strange puzzle box in the dresser in his bedroom at the end of the front hall. I believe he stores the key to the yard inside. The puzzle box can be difficult to open, but there is a trick. The button instructs you how to open the puzzle box. Gain 1 clue. Alright, so she got now 3 clues. Father Mateo's got 3 clues. Alright, so that's 1 turn. I think I'm going to move 1 space here. And next turn I am going to pick up the knife because I need a melee weapon just in case. Then Ascan Pete is going to move. And he's going to go towards the end of the hall. So he gets moved 2 spaces. That's 1, 2. Then he can move another space. So he goes over here. And that's going to expand our room. So the hall continues deeper into the mansion. And investigator at the hall corner may reveal the adjacent area. Well, you can reveal it. So it says the hall continues with a bathroom hall. From the bathroom hall towards the side of the mansion. Place a hall end tile as indicated and discard all explorer site tokens leading to it. So this one's going to go away. And we'll skip the hall end and we'll get back to the game here in a second. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so we got our hall end. And we hit continue. It says someone acting in a hurry has knocked over a stack of papers. Place a search token as indicated. So on the papers, I'm going to put a search token. 3 doors lead to other rooms of the mansion. Place explore tokens. So we got 1 here. 1 here. And 1 here. Okay. You could use the surrounding furniture to barricade the door should the need arise. Place a barricade as indicated. So that goes right over here at the corner of the hall end. Continue. And that is it. So basically, he moved twice, so that is his turn. So we are going into the Mythos Phase. So I'm going to go back to the app so we can see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to click on this. Yes, we're done. Okay. Whispered voices drift down the halls. The chanting becomes louder and louder. Ashcan Pete covers his ears and starts banging his head against the wall to get the voices out. Ashcan Pete suffers 1 face down damage and 1 horror. Will negates. So his will is 4, so he gets 4 dice. Hopefully he can get 2 because if he doesn't, we got to decide who's doing face down damage or horror. Hopefully we get 2 at least, or 1. So we got 2 results, so we're good. So he negates both of those. He doesn't get a face down damage, he doesn't get a horror. So that's awesome. We'll continue. Alright. So we're back to Investigative Phase. Alright, the first thing's going to happen is Father Mateo is going to take the knife immediately, and then he's going to move 1, 2. Okay. Then Ascan Pete, because we know that the bedroom was at the end of the hall. He's going to go into that specific room. He expects the unmarked door leads to the bedroom. That's what Eugene told us, so yes. The door opens to a bedroom that seems modest compared to the decor and the rest of the mansion. Discard this floor token and place the bedroom 1 tile and a wall as indicated. Okay, so we are going to get the bedroom 1 and we'll come right back. Well, that's the first part of our Mansion of Madness Cycle of Eternity. I hope you enjoyed it. What we're going to do is film the rest of it and we'll post the second part very soon. Please put comments if you like it, do the thumbs up, and hope to see you on the next video, episode 5 part 2. So I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.